So the first thing you need to understand is that this book does not believe in easing you in. It wakes up screaming. A man opens his eyes. He does not know who he is. He does not know where he is. He does not know why his body feels like it has been through a hostile negotiation with gravity. His muscles don't work right. His tongue feels thick. His thoughts come in broken pieces, like someone spilled a puzzle on the floor and kicked half of it under a couch. He is alone. He is strapped down. And there are two corpses floating nearby, which is not ideal for morale. We are on a spaceship. Not that he knows that yet. He doesn't even know the word spaceship. He knows shapes, lights, the vague idea that things are wrong in a way that feels expensive. There's a computer voice. It talks to him like a kindergarten teacher dealing with a confused raccoon. Slow, gentle, patient. It asks questions, simple ones, repetitive ones. It wants him to identify himself. It wants him to know who he is before it will move on. His body barely cooperates. His brain is rebooting in stages. Language comes back first, then basic reasoning, then, agonizingly slowly, memory. And every time something clicks back into place, it brings dread with it. Because if he's waking up restrained in an unfamiliar environment with two dead crewmates drifting nearby, that means something has already gone catastrophically wrong. As he recovers, the ship starts teaching him like it's building a human from scratch. Letters, numbers, concepts, orientation, survival basics. This isn't kindness. This is necessity. The mission depends on him functioning. And slowly, painfully, his memories begin to leak back in fragments. He remembers Earth. He remembers classrooms, chalk, whiteboards, students who did not ask for this level of astrophysics enthusiasm. He remembers his name, Ryland Grace. And remembering it doesn't help. It just makes the loss more specific. Then he remembers the sun, dimming. Not metaphorically, literally. Astronomers discovered something horrifyingly simple. The sun was losing energy, and not just ours. Stars across the galaxy were dimming in the same measurable way. Crops failed. Climate models collapsed. The planet didn't panic at first because the problem wasn't fast, which is worse. Because slow extinction gives you time to understand exactly how doomed you are. The cause turned out to be a microorganism, a spacefaring, star-eating organism that fed on stellar energy and reproduced using it. It spread through space like cosmic mold. Humanity named it Astrophage, which feels optimistic, naming something that will kill everyone like it's a lab sample you can still negotiate with. Here's where Earth does what Earth always does when faced with annihilation. It argues for a while, then commits to something horrifyingly bold. They discover that Astrophage doesn't survive in certain stellar environments. One star system, Tau Ceti, appears immune. The plan becomes insane but simple. Go there, figure out why, and bring that knowledge home. The problem is distance. No one can survive the trip and the return. So they design a one-way mission. Grace remembers now how he got involved. He wasn't sent straight from a classroom to a spaceship. He was recruited off the teaching circuit to work on astrophage research on Earth. He became the lead scientist on the project, the guy in the room who understood this thing better than anyone else. But when it came time to crew the mission, he refused. Flat out refused. He did not want to go. He was terrified. He was honest about it. He said no, and that should have been the end of it. Except the trained crew died, and Grace turned out to be the only remaining candidate with the specific genetic marker required to survive the long coma. So they didn't ask him again. They sedated him, they put him on the ship unconscious. Grace didn't sacrifice himself, he was forced. The other two crew members were specialists, trained, prepared. They're also dead, which means Grace is now the only human being within several light years. Cool. Great. Love that for him. As the ship arrives in the Tau Ceti system, Grace begins running experiments. He studies astrophage behavior. He tests environments. He clings to routine because routine is the only thing keeping his thoughts from spiraling into the vacuum. And then, he detects another ship. Alien. Not attacking, not hiding, just present. Which is deeply upsetting because the odds of encountering extraterrestrial life at this exact moment are astronomically rude. First contact does not involve laser fire or dramatic speeches. It involves confusion, fear, and a lot of extremely careful not dying on both sides. The being on the other ship does not have a name Grace can pronounce. It communicates in musical chords. Its biology is wrong in every possible way. Ammonia instead of oxygen. Stone-like exterior, 5 limbs. Grace eventually gives it a nickname, Rocky, because sometimes, in the middle of existential terror, you cope by naming things something manageable. Rocky is also alone. His species is facing the same extinction. Different star, same monster. What follows is the heart of the book. 2 beings who cannot share biology, language, atmosphere, or food, learning to communicate anyway. They build a shared language out of math, chemistry, physics, and sheer stubborn goodwill. They make mistakes. They nearly kill each other accidentally more than once. They argue without having words for argument yet. And they become friends. Not because the book declares it, because isolation demands it. Together, they uncover the truth. Astrophage is not unstoppable. It is afraid. There is a predator microorganism that hunts it, eats it, keeps it in check in Rocky's star system. The solution exists. The cost is time, and fuel, and risk, and possibly never going home. Here's the thing about Ryland Grace. When the moment comes to choose between survival and decency, he hesitates just long enough to fully understand what he's about to lose. But Earth's fate is already decided. Before turning back for Rocky, Grace launches the Beetle probes, small, automated ships carrying the predator organism and the data Earth will need to survive. He sends humanity its last chance home at near-light speed. Only then does he make his choice. Rocky's ship is damaged. His mission will fail without help. Grace can preserve his own survival window, or he can do something catastrophically bad for his odds. He saves Rocky, which strands him, which means Earth will never see him again. And Grace accepts that, not with speeches or martyrdom, but with quiet exhaustion, with the understanding that saving one world by abandoning another isn't really saving anything. Grace helps Rocky return home with the predator organism. Rocky's species survives. Their star recovers. Grace stays behind. Alone again, but not purposeless. He lives on an alien world, teaching science to children who look like rocks and think in vibrations instead of sound. Earth, we later learn, survives too. The Beetle probes arrive. Humanity recovers, slowly, messily, imperfectly. Grace never goes home. He never becomes famous. He becomes a teacher again. And honestly, that feels exactly right.